Returning now to secondary teachers who have voted to strike in the first term of next year after rejecting a pay offer from the government. The PPTA has asked for a single increase of 15%, and in response, the government offered its members a 3% pay increase for 3 consecutive years. The PPTA's president, Jack Boyle, says teachers voted overwhelmingly to reject the current offer, and he joins me now. Hi Jack, can you tell us what was the split? How many voted? What percentage voted for strike action?
Kilda, we don't release the actual numbers, that's private to members, but I can tell you it was an overwhelming and almost unanimous majority who have said, look, the current offer is so far away from what we know we need and what kids deserve that it has to be rejected. And also they've given authority for the use of industrial action in term 1 of 2019, not because we want to. Teachers never want to make moves that will impact the learning and the well-being of young people, but because we cannot have a business-as-usual approach to negotiations.
So
there are already too many children missing out. So what we want is we want to continue to bargain in good faith, but we can't just go through the motions of having the lowest common denominator, which inches up slowly and painfully over time, because that is not only going to not fix the situation we have, it's going to make it worse.
All right, we'll get to some of the details of what exactly you want in a minute, but to begin with, can you tell us what form that strike action will take? Will there be rolling strikes?
No, because so at the moment we've been given authority for a one-day stoppage in term 1, and also we've been given authority to develop a wider campaign plan, which might include things like community engagement. So that's going to come from the secondary teachers of New Zealand. They'll come up with what they think they need to go out to the community to get those messages around what we know we need.
All right.
To bring out the brightest and best.
Are you going to join forces with the primary teachers to maximise the impact and go out all together for a one-day stoppage?
Yeah, look, at the moment, it's my understanding the primary teachers have an offer in front of them and are conducting a ballot around whether to accept or reject that. But certainly, we had a press conference last Friday, and we've got a shared interest to do the best for kids. And if it happens that they reject the current offer and they also look to use an industrial response, because between now and then there is insufficient leeway given by the government in their current sort of no more money position, and there's insufficient success to be able to recruit, support and retain teachers through that negotiation, then that's absolutely on the cards.
Right, so it's on the table, a super strike, if you like, with teachers from primary and secondary. OK, so this offer from the government that you've rejected, it's worth more than $400 million over 4 years, and it is a cumulative 9.3% increase over those 3 years for all teachers. I mean, for a lot of people, that is a gold standard offer. What more do you want specifically?
Well, I guess you've got to ask the people of New Zealand, do they want highly trained, motivated, qualified teachers guiding the learning of their children? And if the answer is yes, then you need to actually look at the relative pay that you get for going into education, which is a really important job, versus other career choices. Because what we're seeing is 40% fewer people are choosing education than they were 10 years ago. What we're seeing is that 40% of those who do choose it are gone inside the first 5 years. And what we're seeing is that 1 in 5 workers in secondary schools... Look,
I understand your argument. I understand your argument, and people do as well. But I'm asking you, what is the price tag for those highly motivated, highly qualified teachers that you're talking about? If it's not a 9.3% cumulative increase over 3 years, what is the number?
So the number that we've gone into bargaining with is 15%, and that 15% is what we need to re-establish the relativity to the median wage that we had in the early 2000s, which was the last time that we managed to push back significant shortages that were impacting the learning of our young people.
Nobody gets 15% though. Nobody gets 15%. So what's your next best offer? If you're expecting counter offers from the ministry, surely there needs to be a bit of movement on your side.
There will be, and that's what good faith negotiation is. But at the moment, all I have in front of me, and all the secondary teachers of New Zealand have in front of them, is an offer that is 3 by 3 by 3 over 3 years. And we know because there's been a resounding rejection from secondary teachers that that is insufficient. So absolutely, we are committed to working through negotiations from now all the way through until the beginning of next term, if that's what's required, in order to come up with something that we can take out and that our members will say, that secondary teachers will say, yep, this is enough to keep me in doing what I love and what I want to be doing, and enough for the brightest and best who are currently in tertiary education to choose education.
The Education Minister, Chris Hipkins, has said 15% is, quote, out of the ballpark. So who would you like him to take the money off so that you can get 15%? Which other occupation?
Yep, that's the business of government, and you won't find too many governments that will say, yep, we've got plenty of money, just fill your boots. Absolutely, the government will have to prioritise from within the amount of money that they've got, whether it's the $5.5 billion surplus or whether it is what they've put aside for vote education. That is their job. And what we are asking the government to do is to work with us so that we can have great teachers in New Zealand, so that we can train them here, so that it is seen as an attractive or first-choice career option for New Zealanders. And at the moment, we're too far away from that.
Thank you for joining us this evening. That is Jack Boyle, who is with the Post-Primary Teachers Association. As he said there, they have voted to take industrial action in the first term of next year, and at this stage it will be a one-day stoppage, reserving the right to go out with the primary school teachers at the same time if they haven't sorted their pay claim. And we invited the Minister of Education, Chris Hipkins, on Checkpoint tonight. He was unavailable.